How would you like to visit? How would you like to discover the wondrous beauty in our own backyard? The babbling brooks, unique moss-covered rocks, and hidden forest paths right here in Lower Connecticut. Did you know about the New England jungle is just 40 miles northeast of the heart of the concrete jungle? Our guest today is a hiking enthusiast, and we'll talk about his favorite hike here in Fairfield County, which he says is as beautiful as any place in North America. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Dorothy Toth, to meet the new directors.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you will meet on this show are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves and the productions they've created and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the work they've done during the semester. Our guest today is an avid hiker who has explored nature all over North America, from the Canadian Rockies to the hills of California and the wonders that are right here in New England. We would like you to meet today's guest, Chris Regan.
Thank you for having me.
So you've hiked all over the U.S. and Canada, but we understand one of your favorite spots is right here in Fairfield County.
Yes, actually, one of my favorite spots that I've ever been to is this place called the Bartlett Arboretum in North Stamford. It's a beautiful place to go, and actually, I got some footage from the last time I was there. It's a dense forest. It makes you feel like you're in the jungle. Like you're only 40 miles from the concrete jungle in New York City, and it's mesmerizing. As I said, I got some footage from last time I was there. One of my favorite things to do actually is go there after a storm, because it's the whole place has been it's been devastated by winds and air, but there's kind of there's a beauty in that. There's kind of a controlled chaos, if you will. And in the destruction and the fallen trees and the rocks strewn everywhere, there's also a certain measure of beauty. You can find life springing from the roots, of the ashes rather of the storm, and you can see that life begins anew. It's a beautiful cycle, and there's so much to see there. Every time I go there, there's always something new. There's always something that I haven't seen before, and that's what I love about it. It's a jungle. You have streams, you have rocks, you have mushrooms, you have tiny little flowers as spring returns, sprouting up from the earth, and frankly, I've been to a lot of places. There's a lot of beauty all across North America, but the Bartlett Arboretum is really a hidden gem right in our own backyard. I live in Stamford. It's not even a 20-minute drive from my house. So it's a place I visit frequently, and frankly, it's mesmerizing. There's not really much more I can say. There's a calm, there is a peace, there is a revitalization of new life springing up in the spring. And when we get as I mentioned before, when we get our storms in New England, the controlled chaos of the aftermath, and new life springing up from the rocks and then the brooks, and it's wonderful. I love it.
That was beautiful footage.
Thank you.
So what encouraged you to take the TV and production course?
Well, I really wanted to learn more about how filmmaking worked and how production worked. I kind of had a layman's understanding of it. My uncle works in the industry, but it's funny. You think you know an awful lot, but then when you take the course, you realize how much you don't know, and it's fascinating. and I wanted to learn more about it, and it's really been delightful, frankly.
So what are some of the things that you have learned throughout this course?
Well, we started off learning basic composition, concepts with light, lighting, framing, cutting on the action, clean entries and exits, the concept of building a storyboard and diagramming a set so you know exactly where everything is supposed to be, and I didn't realize that how much of a process it was, and it was really I find the whole process it's fascinating, and I loved it.
So can you tell us about your student studies, cup of tea, nature, and orange projects that you did throughout this semester?
Well, this semester we did 4 projects, as you just mentioned. We first did the student studies project, where it was really kind of our initial thing where we learned how to frame a scene, diagram a scene, to see it on screen right now. Learning cutting on the action. Some of these cuts are a bit quick, a bit too quick, but it's you learn, and there's a lot of mistakes. This first project is it's not good. There's a lot of errors and stuff, but it was kind of a first introduction. It's kind of learning the ideas behind it. And this is my cup of tea project. This one I think improved a lot. I filmed it in my own house. I used better use of close-ups, better cutting on the action, and it was a bit more of a narrative. It was making the tea, and that cut was way too quick. Making sure everything was on the same side, using 100-degree line, and yeah. And so this is my nature project. I filmed a lot of this actually at the Bartlett Arboretum, and what we're looking for is different concepts in nature. This is a line of grace. These are lines of grace. These S's and C shapes, kind of given the aura of beauty. And there's another one, the shoreline. This is up at Cove Beach in Stanford, and the different lines give you different senses of emotion. And this is my orange project. This one we built from scratch. We had to build our own script, and it was a longer process. This was my longest film. It was over 4 minutes. You use of continuous zooms. I was actually very proud of this shot. My performer ate a bad orange and he got sick, and I was very fond of this shot displaying how he was ill, and so yeah, I was very, very proud of it.
Nice. So what do you feel was your best project out of all 4?
Probably the orange project, just because I had the 3 projects before that, the experience of it, and so some of the dumb mistakes I was making early on weren't as prevalent, and I felt that I actually had a narrative. It wasn't just a hodgepodge of shots that didn't always make sense, and I thought my cuts were a lot cleaner, the close-ups, the cutting on the action, the clean entries and exits, and using the camera to tell a story. It's not just person walks in, makes a cup of tea, walks out. It's not just still shots of nature. So being able to develop a narrative, it was intimidating at first, but I feel that the product really came into its own, and it was definitely my best project.
So what are the most important skills you've learned in this course, and how will you put them to use?
I really loved the production aspect of it, especially during the production of this show, which I'll be doing later. I'm the guest today, but I'm producing later. I found the work in the TV booth to be exciting and interesting and exhilarating. Frankly, the fact that you have to work on the fly. Doing things live is when you're filming something at home, you know, it's kind of, it's broken up, it's slow, but when you're in the TV studio, you gotta go, and frankly, it's exhilarating, and I honestly, you know, I could see that as a career. It's exciting, and I love it.
That's wonderful, Chris.
Thank you.
So today we got to meet someone who showed us a bit of the natural beauty that is hidden in our own backyards. As a new TV director, he hopes to apply what he has learned here at NCC to capture the splendor of nature on film. He also plans to use the new knowledge from TV One to produce beautiful nature films around the country. We would like to thank Chris Regan for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming. We enjoyed meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and have a great day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Dorothy Toth, directed by Andrew Wallen. I'm your announcer, Alan Joseph. The New Directors is a Nara Community College student production.